Hello everyone. Mic testing 1 2 3. Just gonna check if everything is working or not. Cool, the latency seems to be smaller now as we have upgraded to a better Wi-Fi, and I'll not be needing a phone because now we have a two-screen setup. And if you were watching the videos where I was doing the coding part, you must have observed it already because I was looking at a different scene. But enough of that. How have you guys been? It's been a while. It's been a long while since I have streamed. And the videos, I think, when did I make my last video? When did I upload the last video in that uh, lead code series? Let me just quickly check. I know it's been a horribly wrong, and yeah, I was just stuck on things. I don't know why it took me so long. I should have started making streams again way earlier. I had so much to talk about, but yeah, we were just stuck on things, guys. We were just stuck on a lot of things. Um, yeah, I've been learning a lot of things recently, and yeah, shifted my house. If you can't tell by the camera, I don't think there was anything much visible in the previous setup as well. So I don't know if you can straightforwardly tell or not, but yeah, shifted my place. moved from a 2 BHK, moved to a 2 BHK from a 1 BHK. Feels nicer, more space to myself now, and a nice hole to dance to in the morning. So yeah, I'll just let you guys join in, and yeah, till then I can just be yapping about what's going on with me. So yeah, being busy with a lot of stuff, trying to learn a couple of things, and yeah, got just hit by life, I guess. So I'll just wait for you guys to join in. We are ready with the setup finally. Everything is working. Got the Wi-Fi working at the new place. It took a while. So it was Excitel's Wi-Fi, and it's such a thing I want to rant about because seriously. So I had asked him to shift my Wi-Fi around when before I started shifting. Before when I decided that I'll be shifting on a particular day, which was 1st of June, I had intimated them about my shifting on 28th, I guess, 28th May, and then somehow they never sent a person. And after 10 days, I received a call from them. Then, hey, now we are ready to shift your Wi Fi. So, where do we want to come? And I told them the address, and they told me we can cover the 9th and 10th street. But my street was 8th street, and they said this will come under a different region. And now I'll have to restart the process that I had started around 15 days back, and I'll have to go through that process again to get my Wi-Fi working. And so I had to lash out a bit on them. Then got to talk with the customer support. There was no call number. Basically, there is no place you can call to. You will have to contact them through their apps chat. And yeah, in the chat, they're always like, yeah, we are working on it. You're on the highest priority and all of that bullshit. But it finally got done in about 20 days. And I had to pay the guy extra just so that he can come and get my Wi-Fi done because I had to get its number from a different person and all of that weirdness. So yeah, Wi-Fi relocation is a bitch. So finally we got everything working now. Now we have a Wi-Fi setup and now we are ready to stream. And as you might have known previously, I don't know if I discussed it with you guys or not, I previously had the ACT FiberNet, and that is just shit. I hated streaming with that because the maximum internet they allowed was 100 Mbps, and at the same time, if my electricity is out, like if the region's electricity is out, and I have an inverter which has a power backup, the Wi-Fi should work in my head because I am the one uh, whose Wi-Fi is running. I am giving electricity to my Wi-Fi, and it is the company's responsibility to give me uninterrupted Wi-Fi. That's why we have these kind of services. But somehow, when the region's electricity is out, their Wi-Fi is out. They don't have a power backup, and that was shit. So I hit it ACT FiberNet. Then I switched to Excitel. Excitel had way more Mbps as their maximum speed allowed, and at the same time, it was comparatively cheaper. And now I have a decent speed internet at my place, which is working through Excitel. The only problem being now my this house, the 2 BHK one, doesn't have a power backup yet. So in the middle of the stream, if the stream ends, you will know that the Wi-Fi has ran out, and then I'll have to connect through my mobile data or something. Now, I also bought a solar panel recently, which is interesting. I don't get too much sunlight at my place, but I still got a solar panel because I was interested in doing some experiments with it. I was trying to play with Arduino, and I thought I was never getting that motivation to what exactly do with Arduino. And when I started playing with that Wi-Fi, like the solar panel thing, and so that we don't have power backup, I thought, why not use a solar panel? And maybe with Arduino, we can build something like sun tracker or some kind of auto cleaning mechanism for our solar panel, some kind of a interesting project in that sense and play with that. But yeah, I am talking to myself here. There is no one on the stream, so guys, please join up. I know I have made that kind of a brand here where I always stream without a memo, and that is shit. But please join in. I'm requesting you. I feel lonely here without you right now, and I had been missing you for a while now. Oh man, it's just been so hectic lately in the office, in like my personal life, with all the relocation and stuff, getting all things set up at the new place, a new fridge, new washing machine, all of those things. Ended up setting up my washing machine by myself. A lot of things happened. Just join in. What should I do? Should I send a community notification or should I post it on my Instagram? Let's try posting it on my Instagram if that helps. I don't know if it will help or not. I don't want my friends joining the reel anyway. Like, I don't think it will be of interest to them. I just only want people to join the stream who are actually interested in the stream, and I think that will be guys who are fun in that sense, like who have who enjoy this kind of nerdy rants and stuff. So yeah, let's just let's just try posting on our Instagram about the live stream. How did you even post things? Oh my god, I'm completely out of touch. How do you create an Instagram? Not AI images. What the fuck is this? Why do I have to change this so much? Oh my god, they've changed it so much. Oh yeah, here it is. No, they haven't changed it. I have just been out of touch, I guess. So live on YouTube right now. Anything about name? That should be it. Audience, such unplanned stream is it? We are creating the notification for stream inside of the stream. That's cool, right? That's what cool kids do. Mm, uh, join in, guys. What are you doing? Oh, dude, Instagram is so difficult to handle, right? Oh god, why do I keep missing it? You okay now? Cool. Upload it on Instagram. Do I need to notify anyone else? Should LinkedIn help us, guys? Come on, you will have to help me brand. I'm not gonna hire a PR guy for all of this. So you are the ones who are only gonna help me. So yeah, just join in. I'm gonna wait for a couple of more minutes. If no one joins, it's okay. We will start working on MCP. At the end, we'll end up making an edit for it in a video. Fine, works. We'll rant some other day then. I know. I've been streaming without a memo, so I'm not gonna get everyone out of it. Like, it's no, who is expecting me at 2 p.m. trying to be streaming right now? Like, no one, because I've intimated no one. That's me problem. I understand that. I acknowledge that. So it's okay. You can join in your own time. Till then, I'll just post it somewhere else as well. Let's just save this video and post it on LinkedIn. Does LinkedIn provide stories? Are there stories on LinkedIn? No, right? No stories on LinkedIn. Okay, we'll just make a post then. Cares? Who cares? Who cares? I'll just share the link as well on LinkedIn. So you guys started to join in? Not yet. We'll wait, we'll wait. No worries. Good. Made a post on LinkedIn as well. People must be starting to join in now. Till then, I can just keep ranting to myself, which will be pretty stupid, or you can keep listening to the music that was just playing before. That will be fun. As no one is here already, I'll just wait for you guys to join in and have some water till then. So yeah, see you in a while once people have started to join in. And I know again, have started the stream without any memo, so I have not expect people to join in, which is okay. We will be starting in 5 minutes as no one joins in, and yeah, we'll just start working on what we are going to do with MCPs and explore what we can actually, if we can build something out in this live stream itself out of them. Like, I had been working with MCPs in my office as well, and I think they are kind of fun. And my initial opinion about them is they are better than RAG and whatever we were doing before that. So they are a progress towards a better thing, and they can actually help us build something out of LLMs, because if you just know the basis of it, it's just basically connecting LLMs to APIs via standard protocol. So yeah, let's see if we can build something fun out of it. Till then, I'll just be waiting for 5 more minutes, and if you don't join in, we'll just start working on it. If you do join in, then I have a lot to rant about, and I'll continue ranting, and I don't want to talk alone to myself in the room. That will be crazy. I might go mad while doing that, so I'll not be doing that. So yeah, see you in a while. You can listen to the music if you are here till then, and yeah, I'll just wait for someone to join in. Hey, how are you doing? So we are back again, and yeah, so we have been waiting for 5 minutes, and I think someone just joined in. So hey, how are you doing? We'll be just exploring MCP today, and let's see if we can build something interesting out of it. And yeah, if you are if you have been on this channel before, hi, welcome back. It's been a while. I know I've been gone for a long time, and now I'm back again, and I hope to actually continue streaming more regularly now. And I know I have been saying this for a lot of streams in the past as well, but this time it's gonna be different. So yeah. Okay. Hello. Nice. It's one of my friends. So that's one better. Hello, Shishti. So yeah, we can just start exploring MCP. We have been waiting for enough, and I have been streaming without a memo, so I expect you to not join. It's fine. So yeah. So what are MCPs? So model context protocols. Ah, interesting. So what does that tell you? It tells you that it is a protocol. What kind of protocol? Well, it allows LLMs to communicate nicely with your applications, and that should actually help you because that will allow your LLM to communicate to some real world tasks as such. So yeah, that's what model context protocols are. Now, what can we do about it? Is the question. So we have to think like what can we build, if we can build something interesting out of them or not, and that's the whole idea of this stream. So came across this one Medium article that I wanted to read on stream as well, where like 9 cool MCP projects for AI coders. Now I don't know if this was premium or not. I don't remember it, but anyway, there are some ways of opening this. I don't know if you're aware of this or not. But yeah, don't let internet fool you for being everything being paid. I don't know if they are themselves provided a link for the free one or not, but okay. So the whole idea behind MCPs is that it allows models to communicate via a standard protocol between an API and a model. Now, don't confuse it with a network protocol. A network protocol is still different. It allows how your network communicates, how it sends packets, and how those packets are read by the receiver, and all of those things, the router communication, and all of that. That is a network protocol. That is what is HTTPS. TCP and all of those things. TCP, HTTP is built on top of TCP and stuff like that. But that is network protocol. What we are talking about here is model context protocol. So basically a protocol that allows the model context to be in a standard format, and that API gives that standard format to the model, and that model can communicate back to the API using that standard format of communication. Now what does this standard format allows us? If we have a standard format of communication just like this, it allows us to have easy to and for communication between the model interfaces. And as we see, the models have been fine-tuning, have been learning on more and more data. If we have a standard protocol that allows the models to communicate with the endpoint, it will help the model to improve with time, because the protocol remains fixed, and we will keep training the model on more data that includes that kind of protocol. And that way our models should all be aligned in a way to communicate in a standard way to any API we make. So you can make model agnostic applications where you don't have to worry about prompt tuning and fine tuning every time when you are trying to connect your model to another endpoint. It will be a standard protocol. The model will immediately understand what this API does because it has been trained on that. So that's the idea behind MCP, and that's why I found it pretty interesting as compared to the other hype things that always are around these LLMs, because there are so many people trying to do so many things, and a lot of them are just hype bullshit that are trying to improve LLM performance by basically doing nothing and trying to figure out some silly ways of trying the LLMs to make better answer, trying the LLMs to force them to think in some sense where they are not actually thinking. They are just going into some trees and going back up to see if the tree gave them a fruitful result or not that will satisfy the user they are answering or not, and leads to the hallucination bullshit and stuff. But yeah, too much into that. We don't need to worry about too much LLM details here. We just want to worry about what is MCP and can we make something cool out of it or not. Now, I want to open this link for that to happen, and somehow I'm not able to open it. What happened to freedom? Somehow my mouse is also giving me problem. This is also something I wanted to rant about. And like this mouse again, I just bought a dongle free wireless mouse because I was annoyed with dongles and stuff. I have a MacBook Air doesn't have too many USB ports, and if in that way if I have to connect dongles and stuff, I have to use more like more extenders and stuff that connect to that one USB-C and then give the extension to multiple ports, and that is just annoying to me. Like that kind of a multiple system setups. So I ended up buying a mouse that doesn't have a dongle and then directly connect to Wi-Fi. Oh, sorry, Bluetooth. But this mouse is giving me so many problems. It's been 2 weeks since I bought this mouse, I assume, and somehow the right button and left button are immediately starting to give me problem. And this is Logitech, by the way, Logitech M240. I don't know what they are doing with this build quality, but this is annoying, and I think I'll have to just return this for this case. I don't know. It's just shit. But yeah, model context protocols. 9 cool things we can build with model context protocol. We'll just read through this one article once and then we'll start building things with it. Now, I've been exploring MCP on my own because of my uh, work as well. So there I tried to build something with it. So I'm already aware of how you can build with MCP and what are the different techniques you use to actually host MCP, connect it to your client, and how can you connect your client, how can you client make your client more agnostic so that you don't have to worry about cloud and everything for your configuration. But yeah, we'll talk about that, and we'll be using Gemini in this video as such. I'm pretty sure about it because that's the only free one right now that I know, free API that I know. Cool. So smart rack that knows this is a premium article. I can't read it, so let's just go to some. Do we have any other article on this? Somehow these links are not working. Have they provided? Sometimes they provide their own free version of it, right? No, they haven't this time. Great start to the stream, isn't it? But yeah, whatever. Let's just think of a problem ourselves. So what can we build on the MCP with this stream? What do you want to build? See, we have a couple of free APIs with us. Weather and stuff are too simple. I don't think we want to do that. That's not, we never do something too simple on this channel. We try to always build something interesting. We can work with Google Sheets API and then try to build some kind of an application that keeps tracks of something interesting. Maybe one thing we can do is we can create a Google Sheet and we can have some kind of invoice related data in that, and we can try to make a model that combines with a VLLM and that connects via MCP, and it fills all the right rows inside of any invoice inside of our Google Sheet. I think that's an interesting project, isn't it? So yeah, let's just build that. So it's basically an invoice mapper. It's gonna take an invoice, and whenever we send it an invoice and ask it to upload this invoices data to a particular Google Sheet, it will just do that. Now, the only way to make this interesting is that it just doesn't have to read any invoice and then upload its data. It should also understand that which Google Sheet this invoices data should actually go to. So we can make a couple of invoices, and on the basis of the uh, name of the particular vendor or something, we can have it decide like which particular Google Sheet you want to populate for this task. So yeah, I think we have the problem statement clear. Let's write down our problem statement somewhere and have it on the screen always. How can I set that up? uh Sticky notes. Are there sticky notes in? There must be sticky notes in Apple, right? Stickies. Yeah. So let's open a new note. Easy to customize your notes. Thank you, Google. Thank you, Apple. But yeah, I think I'll understand that. So our problem statement is that never this would it populates the data on the sheet, and that will not be enough of a problem. We just don't want it to make post requests. We also want it to make get requests from the Google Sheet. So we'll also have like a get requests. Be able to answer users query based on invoice number, fetching data from Google Sheet and giving the needed details. So this is our task. So basically we need to upload invoice data, and before that actually we need to uh, parse invoice data, image to text, PLM. Then we need to upload invoice data in Google Sheet, retrieve based on invoice number, and then finally we need to be able to answer users query based the data received. And just for the sake of it, we will try to build a Streamlit application out of it. Streamlit app. How do you write Streamlit application as an interface? And as I have said already, we will be using Gemini's API for this. So for the VLLM, we will be using Gemini. For uploading the Google Sheet, we'll be using a service account or something. I hope it is free. The last time I remember, it is free. And that's all we need. We are not creating any kind of DB or something. We will just be working with Google Sheets, as I think it's more of a real world problem in that sense. And also the API is free. Otherwise, I can host my own kind of a local service on my Docker in my local machine and have it as a DB. But I don't know. It just seems more fun when everything is uh, remote. I don't want local things to be there. So our Gemini is remote. Our service account is going to be remote. So we will actually be working in a communication way where we can actually communicate to all of the people. So that's why I want it to be interesting in that sense. And yeah, that's our problem. And I don't know, I don't think we need to worry about that classification task right now. This problem statement seems good enough, and I think this is a good problem statement to understand what MCP is and what are the different functionalities it can offer. So I think this should be good enough. Are you able to read this though, or the text is too small? I think the text is too small, and no one is telling me about this, which means people joined and left for some reason. That's weird. Just stick to the stream, guys. Font. Can we change something about the font? We can make it bigger. Why is it not getting big? Do I have to select it first? Okay. Yeah, we'll just keep ticking for each of the tasks we keep solving in this, and this is what we're going to be building. So yeah, let's get started. So first of all, I'll have to access my Gemini key. I don't think I've worked. First of all, even before that, we have to create a new window. So inside of this, let's open a new project and local folder. Yeah, it can be a part of an experiment. MCP invoice parser. Open this. We'll. What happened? Oh, okay, wrong button. No, what happened? Yeah. So let's get in it. What do you? If only I can type properly. And that's all we should need actually. We have git initialize this. Let's have UV when UV init as well. Source.when activate. And if you are not aware of it, in this channel we use UV as our Python package manager, and trust me, if you are working with Python yourself, just use UV as your dependency manager. It's much better, and I think it's very close to its final 1.0 release, which they haven't done yet. But yeah, this is gonna be the industry standard in a while. Like, just start using it already, and I think they are pretty much done everything that needs to be done in a dependency manager, and it's really fast and it's really cool to use. Just yeah. So just a cool word of advice. Now let's get started with our actual application. So let's delete this main file. Let's have it in a, we don't need this main file. We'll just create another folder in here. New folder source, and inside of source we are gonna have our different modules, like what do we want to do with this application. So first of all, we want to connect to Gemini. uh, are you hearing a noise in the background? I don't know, there's some kind of a jet flying right now. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear me properly or not, or if the Apple's noise cancellation is working in my favor. Oh, it is actually. Looking at the input information from the audio, it seems like it's working. So great. Yeah, basically, let's try structuring this project and add our dependencies. So we will be using Gemini. So we need the Google AI dependency. Let's add it here. UV add, not UV add, Google AI Python. What was the py for it? Google SDK. Dude, why is it so difficult for it to search it? Google Gen AI. No, generative AI sounds wrong to me. Is it this one? Yeah, this one seems right. Yeah, I remember using it like this. So I think this is the correct one. So yeah, these are our requirements. This is the problem statement, and let's just start working on it. So we'll first have to do UV add this thing. Uh, we don't need all of that. So let's do. And what else do we need in this application? So we will be creating an MCP. So we will need the MCP documentation. And yeah, I know I haven't discussed MCP a lot till this in the start of this video. I have just started working on this project directly, and I think it will be better if I just keep communicating of what I think of MCP and what exactly of MCP are we using at a particular situation. As we are working on this project, I think that would be a more fun way of exploring MCP, because if you anyway want to read about model context protocol, they have made their own GitHub documentation and you can just read it here. But if you want to make a full stack project out of it, that's when you want this video. That's the use case for this video. So cool. Now that we know that, you can read this documentation here, and then let's start installing it. So in Python SDK, we need to install, and they must have provided how to install it. There you go. UV add MCP CLI. See, they are also starting there. They have also made their documentation UV friendly. So you know UV is going to be a thing. Better get used to it. Cool. So we have MCP and these things set up now. Now we need to set up our MCP server and all. So actually, I think it's the better way to structure this project is not to do the UV init and everything else. Here, let's actually scrap this one and start rebuild the project. I just want to build it in a different way so that it makes more sense to everyone later when you're actually looking at it in the GitHub that I share as well. So let's recreate a project. Let's go back to Z. Let's open a new window, and no, not this. Okay, now it opened in a different screen for some. Yeah, documents, experiments, MCP, invoice parser. And inside of this parser, we're going to have two separate things. So one thing is going to be our new folder, is going to be our MCP server, and the other thing are going to be our client. And this is how I want to structure this application, for no apparent reason, but yeah, I think MCP client is better to be held differently. It makes more sense to me to consider it as a service in itself, and that's why I want to create a different folder for them. So here you are. I'm just gonna git init the whole folder once that's done, and I'm gonna go inside of my MCP server for now, because that's what we're gonna start building this, and we'll go towards the client later, or we can start with the client and go towards the MCP server later. Yeah, that's fine. We can build the client first. We can see how we are able to parse the invoices. Some sample invoices we'll download from the internet right now, because I just took this problem statement on the live stream itself. I have no idea how I'm gonna do and solve it. So let's cd inside of our client, and let's do uv init. Yep, uv venv. That will create a virtual environment for us, and let's activate it. All of this stuff. Yeah, we'll anyway have to move to and fro from the client and server right now, because we are just going to check the invoice part in the client, and then we are going to go back to our server, working on how we are actually going to be populating all of the things in the Google Sheet. So yeah, we will be moving to and fro from it, so it's fine. We can start with anything. And here I'm gonna again UV add, and for the client side I only need GCP. I don't need MCP CLI, or do I do need the CLI? I think I do need the CLI in both of the cases, so that's fine. First of all, let's add Google Gen AI. Cool, that is added. Now we can start working on this. So let's delete our main.py. We don't need this file, and let's create, or we can just work with the main.py in our client. But first, let's create another folder, which is our notebooks. And here we are going to test our invoice parser. So invoice parser.py. Now, if you're not aware of Z, I'm using Z here as my IDE, and Z doesn't have a support for IPIN files. So basically, if you want to work in a notebook fashion, you will have to work with REPL. So that's what we are going to be using here, and it is using some other um, kernel here, and I wanted to use a separate kernel. So I'm just going to show you how you can set up a kernel in Z and start working with these things. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to UV add dev ipykernel. That's what we're going to be needing in this case, and that should be it. So to set up Z, you have to do python m from wherever you are, ipykernel install user name. Now you're going to give the name to your kernel that you're going to be building, and let's say it's this case it's going to be MCP invoice parser, and I'll have to see the whole command first because I don't remember it myself. So, and display name. Okay, so that's it. Display name you're going to set up, and you're going to set up this. So cool. So MCP invoice parser and display name. And by the way, if you are like me and you also forget these kind of commands very quickly, yeah, you can just go to the Z documentation. I'm just going to show you that in a hot second, and you can use it instead. So yeah, let's run this. This will create our kernel. We'll have to restart Z for this, so we'll just gonna do workspace reload, gonna reopen it, and somehow it reopened it in a different window. Wow. Cool. And now you're gonna see your different kernel as well. So that's nice. Now we are connected to the MCP server, and now we can work with our client. So for this we'll need the Gemini API, and I can't, so I'll just gonna take the screen off for a hot second. I'm gonna create it as an environment variable, and then I'll come back on stream. So just gonna show my face for now, and don't worry, it's just because I am setting up the Gemini API key. Okay, let's just go here, Google AI Studio. Cool. Side here we are gonna get our API key, copy this, close the window just to make sure you're not able to see this, and then come back and rewrite my ZSHRC, where I'm just gonna basically say export Google AI API key. Cool. So now that it's set up, I can just close this. Okay. Luckily, I was not sharing my screen. I accidentally put in my API key. Cool. So have that set up out of the way. Now we can get back to our original screen, and then we can start coding. So this is where I've kept this is the environment variable where my key is. So I'm just going to import OS, and I'm going to say my API key is equal to os.environ and Google AI API key. I assume that was the one, and Here I'm just gonna import. So this is just setting up my API key, and then let's import Google GenAI client. Yep, and our client is gonna be how do you put an API key in here? Google GenAI Vertex AI is equal to crew. Your API Vertex AI API key providers, blah blah blah, as an environment variable, or API key is equal to your API key. So yeah, we're gonna use that because I've named it differently. So API key is gonna be API key, and let's see if the client is formed or not. We are just gonna run these two lines. If it works, then we know our client is connected properly. And I think to run this, you have to do Control Shift Enter. Yep. Yep, so our API key is correct. Our client is getting connected properly. And let's just see how we can parse reports now. So basically, we need to format this request as such so that we are able to uh, get our VLLM to process a particular invoice that will be sending it. Let's just search for invoice data online first of all, sample invoices, sample invoices from data for a company. Yeah, this should be good. So we have the customer number, business code, name, blah blah blah. No, I don't need this, any of this. I just need, why is this in a tabular format? Images, something, image data, high quality images for images for any. Yeah, this is what I want actually. So what kind of images do we have here? Oh, there's a lot of images here. We will not be needing these many images for our experiments, but I think this is good enough. So we have the invoice number that we want, we have the seller info, client info, and we have the item info that will become the different rows in our Google Sheet. So that's great. And then we finally have a summary. We can create two sheets then in that case, where one will be the metadata sheet and the other one will be the data sheet. So in that sense, we'll be able to see how the model is working. In that case, we can make it two different API calls, or we can make it a single API call where all of this is populated itself and we just get all the data from the model. Wow, I have been speaking too fast again, and I don't think that is good for you guys. But okay, so we will just be downloading this the whole data, and let's just do batch one, like batch one of batch one, because 499 files are going to be way more for our data set, and I don't think you can download it individually. So we'll have to download it as a whole in a zip, and then we'll have to do that. So yeah, let's just download it as a zip. Do I need to sign in? Yeah, I need to sign in. Fine, we'll just sign in with this account. Yep, we are ready to download now. Download the zip. Cool. So our invoice data is getting downloaded. We'll just try to send a single invoice to the VLLM and see if it is able to parse it or not, and look at the markdown format result of the parsed image. And once we are done with that, we are okay with the experiment that the VLLM is capable of parsing the invoice that we are sending it. And the next task will be connecting it to Google Sheets and doing all of that. So let's see how we can connect to Google Sheets. Till then, Google Sheets API. Usage limits is available at no additional cost, blah 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 blah. But how do you set it up? So use my account, connect, populate Google Sheets, access Google Sheets with personal access, blah blah blah. One client showing up, use smart fill, how to access Google spreadsheets with a service account, credentials, create Google credentials. Create access credentials. Yep, that's what I want. API and services. Access your publicly available data anonymously in your app or client. Access data that belongs to your own application or access resources on behalf of Google Workspace or Cloud Identity. API key credentials, OAuth credentials, service account credentials. Go to service accounts. Oh, not this. Not this. Let's just go to my account settings and see what we can do. Yeah, storage is full. That's aware of that. And I guess I'll have to again stop my screen sharing once I have the before I have the account credentials, because I again don't want to risk showing you the credentials for my account. And yeah, so we're gonna go back to my face cam and let's see what we can do with this. So inside of this, I want credentials for my account, right? And let's ask. Yeah, I think I'm gonna work with a bot account. I don't think it's safe to work with a personal account for this particular task. Um, just reading about this makes me believe that. And let's create a new account for my personal use. Name is still gonna be bot. And I think I do have a bot account. Give me a second. Oh, nice. I do have a bot account. That's great. Yes, I experimented with it during college times. Yeah, I guess that's the only issue with live streams. Now, most of the guys who must be watching here, they must be like getting bored out of their wits because they just have to see my face for now because they can't see the screen. And while I'm editing this, I can actually make them show the screen by blurring things and stuff like that. But yeah, it will still be tricky for me, just to be on the safer side, because I don't think I am the best with these kind of understanding what all needs to be safe or not. But okay, now we have set it up the bot account. I'm just gonna get its credential inside the environment variable again, and then we'll start working with this. So for this account, I must have had uh, access way of accessing things. So console cloud Google. Yeah, let's ask this. But okay, now It's still not understanding what I'm trying to make it do, but yeah. How do I get I'm just completely out of touch. I have my bot account. How do I get the how do I get the information for this so I can connect it to Google Sheets is my concern. That's my only concern. By the way, our data is already downloaded. You can just unarchive it and paste it into our projects folder. So that's something that's going for us. And if any of you are aware of how to connect our Google account to our this thing, please let me know. I want to understand how I can connect my sheets. Basically, I have my personal account. That's what's going on right now, and I want it to be connected with my. Oh, I'm just trying to do too many things together. Yeah, so I have my service account, not my service account, but my personal account, and I want to get some credentials from it so I can connect it to Google Sheets API. If any of you have done that in the past, please let me know, and we can move forward with that. I've pasted the data inside of the folder. Let's call it just data. And there's gonna be a shit ton of invoices inside of it. Yep, there's gonna be 499 to be exact, and we're gonna delete the rest of the data as we don't need so many invoices. We are not trying to build the invoices here, we are just trying to build a mapper. And yeah, you're still seeing my face, that's the thing. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we can delete this now. And now let's again start to wonder how can I create my password. Can I connect my personal account? Try to connect any API to Google Sheets. No, how to set up Google Sheets API for personal use. Oh, not finding any good solution for this. I do have this thing, right? It should be just available to me. Wait, I have created this Google Workspace account once. So if I just go to Google Sheets, I should be able to create a service account for what is going on. No, console.com. Console.cloud.google.com. Yeah, you may need credentials, create credentials. Data belonging to Google user like their email address or age, user consent required. This will require oath. Application that belong to, yeah, we are going to be using. I think you can see this page. This should be fine, but the credentials will be created. I still don't trust. Just give me 5 more minutes, guys. Service account name. Okay. What are your permissions? This approval API hub API key. Let's just make it owner for now. Give it all the access, and then we'll worry about it later. How do I download this service account credential? Um, please. Okay. So we created a JSON file. We have downloaded the JSON file now, and this should give us access our client. So I'm just gonna copy that inside of my folder. I'm still a bit skeptical to share my screen because I'm scared of giving you the wrong giving you the information. I want to keep it as secret from you as possible. And here I'm going to create a new folder. Cool. So I can start sharing my screen again. And okay, nice. So here we are. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, that's bad. Does it create everything? We'll have to delete the service account and create another one now. Bad timing. Fuck. Yeah, we'll just have to delete the service account. Can't do anything. Nope. Or we can just delete that particular key. That should also work. Yep, deleted that key. We'll add another key now. That was such a mistake. Dude, that was funny. I had not been sharing screen for so long, and when I shared, I messed up. Wow. Not very good with these things, guys. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Created a new one. Should be fine. So we can close all of this. We have the data set, and we just have to see Google Sheets, Python, documentation. And we'll also have to create a sheet, so that's the thing. So I'll again have to open that and copy my account. Where is the account information? Yeah, client email. So how you work with this Google credentials is basically that. Yeah, let me share my screen again. Now it's fine. So how you basically work with these kind of API keys is that you will have to first create a sheet yourself. So sheets.new, and you can create that at any account, doesn't matter as such. Yeah, we're almost out of storage. That sucks. And here, what you want to do is let's just call it our invoice parser. And let's have two things here: invoice metadata, invoice data, and items data. Mm. And what I'll do is when I have created my service account, the service account has a particular email, and what will I have to do is I'll have to share this with the public account email, and make it an editor. So that way the public account can do anything to this Google Sheet, whatever I do using the API. And to connect our um, sheets, like a service account to the sheets, I've just created another folder inside here which is called keys, and inside of keys I have placed that JSON file which is provided to us when we create a key for a service account. And inside here, let's create a new file now, which is sheets upload, where we are going to check how to upload to sheets. Now this is very known MCP things that are going on till now. We are going to come to the MCP part once we are done with all of this. But yeah, so let's just get this done and out of the way. I just wanted to do the simpler parts first, or not just the simpler parts. MCP is also very simple, but just the known parts first before we get into the interesting part where we actually start doing things with MCP. And to do this, we'll have to first install all of this: pip install upgrade Google API Python client, yada yada. And how do you basically run this is the question now. Okay, we'll just read through this, no issues. Let's just go here. Let's just first do uv add all of this, and yep, all of this should be added as our dependencies now inside of our client. Or not, this should actually have been in the MCP. Oh, I'm messing up so many things right now. Okay, no issues, we'll remove it again, and gonna clean this. And let's follow another similar structure inside of our MCP server. Here is where I'm gonna place the keys, and here is gonna create another notebooks folder, not inside of the key. And here is where I'm gonna place this sheets upload. Nice. So why is this crying now? It shouldn't cry. Did we somehow remove this? It makes no sense. And UV sync logged, just to be sure. Why is this crying now? That makes no sense. If I just restart this, it should just be fine. Yeah, it is fine. It's just being weird for some reason. Ah, why are you being weird, Zed? Let's just reload the workspace just sure. Cool, now it's not being weird, hopefully. And inside the MCP server now, we have the keys and the notebook setup, and here we can actually start building the upload part. Just give me a minute, I'll have to open the gates. I'll just be back. Back again. How are you guys doing? So yeah, where were we? So now we have to do the sheet upload part. So we are gonna import Google. I don't know. There's a lot of things you have to import in this case, as far as I remember. Let's open this up, and basically yeah. So you have. I don't think you have to do import all of this as such, but you have to import the credentials where you'll be building your actual code. Luckily that opened in a different window. And yeah, you're gonna have to again create a new UV inside of this. So we're gonna CD out of it. Let's CD MCP server. And here I'm gonna create UV win again, UV init. And inside of this, I'm gonna create my. Hey Ankit, what's up? How you doing, man? We are building a project, and if you want to know the problem statement, here it is. You can read it side by side. And yeah, let's see what we're gonna do with this. So we're just creating an invoice parser that will use an MCP to take our invoice as an image and then upload it to Google Sheets. That's what we are doing. Yeah, cool. So we have set up this UE part, and then we are just gonna add all the dependencies inside of it. So let's go back here, copy this, UE add all of this, and not the pip install part. Cool. So now all of this is added. Now this should be okay, but again, you have to add sdev api kernel, and then you'll have to also do that Python command we already did. And instead of this, it's gonna be MCP server this time. We could have just created a single server, like a single one for all of this, but it's okay. There can be different dependencies, and then we'll be if we'll create it as Docker services, we'll be re-uploading both of the same requirements in two different containers, and that will be taking up more resources. So it's anyway better to create two different bin files from the start, and then when we are creating the Docker containers, we'll use their own respective virtual environment files at the time of the container creation, and that way we'll never have these kind of redundant dependencies in both of the different services. So works. It's a bit slower process, but it actually works, so it's fine for us. And yeah, so you're just going to do this should install your MCP server, and then we're going to reload our workspace again. And luckily now you should be seeing MCP server here. Great. And here you have your dependency, and then you're going to also install this part, this build thing. As far as I can remember, I'll have to see the exact code, but from the top of my mind, these are the two dependencies you actually need to work with Sheets, and everything else is just fine. I don't think you even need the build part. Let's see. So basically, you have your credentials and you define your scopes. So inside of scopes, we need to provide good full spreadsheets access. So we'll have to spreadsheet write append a row in a spreadsheet using Python API. Let's see if we have something in Slack Overflow or something. Yep, so these are the two things you need. And okay, so this is actually just what we need. I'm working on a project where I want to add files. I'm just overwriting the values if I run the code. For instance, if I run request twice, I want to double the values of what's inside AOA. Okay, replace this with update with append. That's all it did, right? Yeah, so we just need the append one. Append dot update. Oh, that's weird. I don't know. But yeah, we just need these things then. So how are you doing, Ankit? Are you still there? Is this your first time on this channel, or have you been here before? Is the question. No module name Google API client. That's bad. Oh wow, such a weird name to keep. Can just be the fact that we haven't activated this. Oh no, we have. I don't know that. We just installed this. Do we have to restart the kernel? Did we install it afterwards? Not sure. Can be the case. No module name this. Wow, we are getting stuck on this. Why would that happen? We are inside MCP server, inside of the pen. Do we have anything like that? Yep, we do have Google API client here, right here. The issue is something else. This MCP server has not been created properly in that case. How did we create this? Yeah, this should be fine actually. I don't see any bug here. Yeah, until unless somehow it was not installed till then, and now it is. So I'm just not sure. I'm just gonna rerun this just to be sure. Okay, now it's working. So yeah, it was some weirdness. The service account file is inside keys dot Google threads dot JSON. I hope that was it. And yeah, we don't need anything else. We create our credentials here, and if the credentials are created, we'll just stop there. We'll try to update one row in the sheet, and if that is working, we are going to start working on the application part of the things now. On this is going to run back to our MCP. So if we can just quickly go back to our invoice parser, and inside here, whatever you're seeing from here to here is your sheet ID basically. Cool, we uploaded our sheet ID, service is created, and when you're creating a service, you can just append values inside of it. So what is this result thing? You are getting the sample spreadsheet ID and range you're specifying. Oh, okay, you're somehow getting the values as well. I don't want to do that, any of that, so that's okay to me. Service.spreadsheet is fine. Don't need this. Sheets.values.append sample spreadsheet ID. Range. No need range. Value. Let's just have some AOA. What is AOA? Let's just have. Let's just see how it works. So let's have some rows here. Cool. So let's try running this now. If it is uploading anything, first of all, the credentials should be connected. File not found. Google creds. Creds keys. Oh, how can that be the case? Instead of key, we have Google dash threads.json. That's correct. How is this happening now? No such file or directory. I'll just copy relative path again just to make sure. And this was the case. Nope, it is just not able to find it. We're gonna just copy the. Let's just copy the full path to avoid any annoyance. Cool. So now our service account is connected successfully, and let's just try populating one row. Function has sheets.values. Wow, dude. Append a row in Google using Python API. Now I can use ChatGPT for all of this, but I'm trying to move away from all of those practices. I think it's has allowed me to, like, it has caused me to read way less documentation in the time being, and that is being difficult for me. So I don't want to do that anymore. How do you get sheet? Client.open sheet.sheet1. You have to specify the sheet as well, right? So client I opened up. What am I doing even? Why is this so different? So I created a service. I opened the spreadsheet service. Now I'm just specifying the spreadsheet ID and doing all of this. So I'm working with build here. The other one we saw was not working with build. So yeah, so somehow we need to check the documentation for this particular thing. How does this work? So inside of the sheet, when we create build, so what does build return is the question. Not too complex. I'm just trying to make it complex by not using ChatGPT. That's the only thing that's happening right now. Okay, what the hell does build return here? They have not even returned told what it returns. It returns service. What is service? Build from document. Oh my god, that's getting annoying. Nah, I don't want to read through this too much. Let's just use ChatGPT to fix this particular lines of code. Or perplexity, because it's easier to work around with and you don't have to log in. That makes life easier. And Sona Pro, because I don't want it to reason for hours. Fix this code so that it uses the sheet name equals. Yeah, let's ask it to fix this. Not try to be too stuck up. Use double bracket for a 2D array because we want to spend rows of rows. That makes sense actually. And we shouldn't have given him the sample spreadsheet ID, but that doesn't matter because it's gonna be accessible anyway. Okay. So your worksheet name you have to specify, and where are you giving that worksheet name? Range is specified as worksheet name. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure if that works or not. That sounds stupid to me. So inside of here, you're just gonna copy this. Your worksheet name is gonna be something, and the build and everything is okay. Let's stop this search here. It's so confusing like this, and then you have all of this, which is fine, and we're gonna delete this part. The values is a function that we append to, and this is all we are doing. Okay, it's pretty similar to the one we had before, and we're just going to replace our worksheet name to our actual worksheet name, the tab name, invoice data. Okay, try running this now. Okay, it did execute. Let's see if we have a row here or not. Hi, 1 2 3 testing, row creation. Great, now this is working. So now we have two things that are working for us. We have the Google Sheet API that is working for us, and then we also have the uh, client that is working for us, but we still haven't sent any request to the client. So that's what we had to test actually. I left it in the middle itself. So sheet upload is working. This is fine. Let's close down the sheet upload file, and let's go to the invoice parse. And here I want to see how actually do we want to input image data inside of Google AI Studio. So Google AI Studio, Google AI Gemini API guide. Yeah. And here I want to search how do you send in image understanding should be the one. Types.part from bytes. Okay, types.part.from bytes data is equal to this, and you're just going to paste it inside of the contents. That's amazing. So that's what we are going to be using here. So from Gen AI we're going to be copying this, and let's send in an image invoice and see what the result we get. So from Gen AI we're going to import types as well. So let's have a single import statement now that we know everything we are going to be using. And let's have the API key inside of the creation itself. Shouldn't be a problem. And then we are going to open our sample file, which is inside of our data. And I think let's just still use the full name because I don't know, maybe because of the kernel it's being an issue. Let's copy the full path. Inside of data we have batch 1001, batch 10001 .jpg, and this is gonna be our file that we are gonna send to our model. And let's also import yeah, it just showed up printed python display import display comma markdown, I guess. Yeah, and let's just ask it to convert this invoice to structured markdown document. That should be it, and we're just gonna get the response from this call. So let's cool. We're gonna run this. No module name google.gen AI. Now why is that happening? Because we are connected to MCP server. We should be connected to MCP invoice parser. Great. Now it's working. We are connecting to the client. EMOS is not defined. How is that a thing now? Now it worked. Wow. So let's just try running this and let's see what's the response we're getting. So I'm just gonna display it as markdown just for the sake of it. Dude, what is happening? Is it my typing or is it the ID? Response? Or that's just print response. For now, I don't even know what the response looks like. Gonna be something base end, isn't it? And why is this in a bug now? Incomplete input. What does that mean? Because there's trailing comma. You don't like trailing commas, is it? Oh, I never closed this. Oh, that's why. Okay, that makes sense. So now this request must be going to Gemini and it must be processing the document, all of that shit it must be doing right now. And we will be getting back finally a response. And what model it's using? 2.5 flash. Damn, that took a lot of time for a flash model. And then inside of the response dot candidates 0. The candidate, what is the num candidates in this one? What is the by default num candidates? Is there a way to send num candidates? How many candidates does it generate? How do I know that? Is there a way to do it here? No. Specify num candidates. How do I specify the question here, please? Config. Generate a config. We need to import this as well. Generate content config. Just so that we have better control later and we don't have to worry about this later when we are facing some issues. Solving the things as we come across them. And we don't need this. I don't know why this is here. Why disco is here. Damn, man, sometimes this IDE gets crazy like that. Why are these on two different lines? That's also stupid. And inside of the config, I think it's gonna take by default for everything else. Generate content config, the one that I have in the file, please. And inside this, I'm just gonna say show me still. You can just look it from here. So candidate count, that's what I'm looking for. Does it show up here? Yeah, candidate count is going to be 1 in our case, so this should be okay now. I think this should be faster. Maybe by default it's something else. Let's just quickly check that as well. By default it's none. And what does the none mean? I don't even know. Cool, so it did run up, and candidate 0 is what's going to be printed inside of this. And inside from there we need the content, and inside the content how do we get the text? Just the text. Dot text. Ah, nice. Or we'll have to do dot parts. Content dot parts 0 dot text. Is that what we'll have to write? Let's just see. Yeah. So this is our data. Let's display it as markdown right here. No. Yep, this is it. Invalid syntax. Yeah, because there's no response. Where did it vanish? Nice. So this is our markdown basically. I don't know why it's still not displayed as markdown. Play thing as markdown in IPython. Yeah, that's how you do it. Just didn't work somehow. Or it's just trying to show it like this because it's going to be too space consuming, maybe. Yeah, this is what our data looks like. It got all of the information from the image. We can just open the image in parallel if you want to see that as well. Let's just click to right. How do you do that? Yep, and we just need to zoom in a little bit to actually understand anything. And does it provide zooming? I don't think it does not allow me to zoom. Yeah, but basically we can just check. Let's open it normally and let's just check for a single row. Damn, why does it not allow to zoom? That's stupid. We can, it's just, yeah, it's still not in. It's 1.0 release. Now you know why that's the thing. So yeah, clearance fast, Dell desktop, blah blah blah, yada yada. What exactly are you telling me here? Quantity 3, each, net price 20900. Yeah, I think it should be okay. It's okay till now. It should be okay later. 62700, 10% VAT, 68970. Perfect. So it is able to pass all the reports with this prompt. So we are going to keep this prompt structure change, and we know how do we get the response out of it. So that's okay. So we know how to do all of these things. Now the question is, we need to connect the MCP to it, and then we need to start working towards that side. So to build an MCP, we need to first think from the API point of view. So you're building an MCP, you're basically building a API that is understandable to an LLM. That's all you're doing when you're saying you're building a MCP. So you're just building a API that an LLM can understand and can interact with. So let's keep that in mind. So I think it's still going to look very kind of traditional, kind of classical kind of API building, but at the end of the day, we are building an MCP in this case. So let's go back to our MCP server, and let's go back to our main.py, and here let's write server.py instead now. Rename to server.py, and here we can actually keep our, we can also create a new folder here, which is going to be our source. We'll have to also keep an init file in here for it to work as a module. Yeah, cool. So we have all of this set up, and inside of the server, we are gonna keep our sheet kind of a connection. So we just want an function that takes in a list and then uploads it to a given sheet. So it's gonna take a sheet name and it's gonna take a row or something. So that's what we need, and we need another API that's gonna parse all of our data for us and upload it. So let's go back. Let's start by building the API first. Let's start with the functionality and then we'll go towards the actual things, the components we need for it. So let's go to the server.py. Let's remove all of these things from here and let's import our MCP. I think we haven't installed the MCP part here. So let's go back online. Let's open the MCP documentation that I showed you earlier. And inside here, if you go to where do you have to go for that? For server developers, you will see how do you need to start this. So here they will tell you you have to install UV, whatever. You have to add UV, HTTPX, and MCP. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna copy these dependencies, go to your IDE, and add this inside. Cool. Now we have added this in our MCP server, which is where we need it. And I'm gonna close this. And inside of our server py, we don't need the kernel anymore, but it's just there. It's whatever. Now it should actually show up properly. Yep. And mcp.tool, that's how it works too. You'll have to first build a client. So that's how it is, right? And I don't remember. mcp.server.fast mcp, and then to create any kind of a thing, you have to do at mcp.tool. And where do you get that at mcp functionality from when you're importing this? I think so. So I don't think we even needed HTTPX. They are just using it instead of requests, so it's fine. We can let go of HTTPX actually in our case. Let's just import requests instead. UV remove HTTPX, UV clean, UV add requests. That should be it. Now inside of our MCP client, we are gonna import this instead, and we are gonna create our MCP server. Let's call this server. What do you want to call it? What do you want to call it? Let's call it invoice parser. And inside here, let's first create a post endpoint. Uh, not exactly a post as such, but we're gonna make it do post things. And so you need to specify anything that is an endpoint, anything that is an API, you need to specify it as mcp.tool. There is also mcp.prompt and mcp.resources, but I haven't actually got a chance to work with them yet and didn't really need to explore them, because with the tool itself, you can also return a string and that string will work as a prompt itself. So I don't know why do we need that, but I guess if you know what's the requirement of those things, what is the idea of building those kind of things, please let me know in the comments down below for this video. So now we can just start building our API. Let's define. Yeah, so we are gonna write save invoice information, and inside here we are gonna define what kind of input do we expect. So we have to define the input schema, which is necessary for us to build a API. So this input schema that we will be defining right here is what will be used by the LLM to actually understand what kind of uh, arguments do I have sent to this API for it to actually function properly. So this is why we need this schema definition properly inside of an MCP. So this is the schema that it will be using. So just import. You don't even need to import typing. Everything works with Python itself now after Python 3.12, and I think we are using the Python after 3.12. We are using 3.13, so everything should be just fine inside of this. So what all do we want to upload from an invoice, guys? What all do we want to upload? Let's just open our invoice, for example, and let's go back to our. Give me a second. This is what an invoice looks like. Have to down. Yep. So this is what an invoice looks like. So what all do we want to upload from the invoice? Let's say definitely we want the invoice number. The invoice number will be uploaded both in the serial number, in the item data sheet and the inventory data sheet. And then we have the date. Let's upload the date only in the metadata one because we don't need it in the item data sheet. And then we have the seller and client information that we'll also store in the metadata sheet. I think that should be fine. And then the items, their number, the description, the quantity, and everything, all of this data actually is gonna be inside of the item data sheet, and all of this we are going to store in the inventory sheet. So let's just build the columns inside the Google Sheets for what all we are trying to store. It's similar to like in our case we are using Google Sheets as a DB, which is not a good idea. Google itself discourages people to use Google Sheets as a DB, but it's fine. We are just trying to build an application that is easy accessible for guys who are more familiar with sheets. And if you are working on practical problems, you'll a lot of times be given these kind of requirements where you have to work with sheets because people are more familiar with it and they are not familiar with your PostgreSQL DB, and they'll be difficult for them to write queries and such. So yeah, so what all are we going to have inside the invoice data? We are going to have invoice number, we are going to have date. Let's have the date first, just like it that way. Number, seller information, client information, and the total VAT, net worth, VAT. Oh, this is in percentage. And VAT and gross worth, gross growth. And that should be it. I think in the total we are printing the same thing, so that should not matter. And so this is what's all gonna be inside of your invoice data sheet. And yep, and let's just prettify it a little bit, because why not? Because we can do it. Bold and give it some borders. And then let's just also freeze this while we are at it. So this information is always going to be there whether you scroll down or not. And for these things, let's make it so that they've wrapped wrap the text as wrap, so that way it looks a little bit nicer. Cool. So this is all that's going to be inside of the invoice data. So let's start by creating our first MCP endpoint, which is uploading metadata. Cool. And we are going to have, just to make you like, just so you know the structure better, we are going to have another endpoint which is going to be save item wise data to sheets, and then we're going to have get invoice data, and somehow I'm messing this up, and the pass here. Cool. So these are the different endpoints we're going to have for this particular tool, and I think that should be enough for our application to just work. These are the particular requirements we wrote here. So we have the parser that is working for us. So that part we can actually just say it's working now. So let's do this, but we still have to, okay, this is fine. So how do I make it show this? Can you just show me my favorite emojis, please? Yeah, thank you. And we're gonna have a tick. Did it? What? Okay, now it's showing up. Cool. So we have this done. We have this part done. So the service account and uploading part is set up. Now we just need to do this with MCP. So this was like the setup, and then we're gonna have MCP endpoints for loading data, and then we're gonna retrieve, then answer user query, and then finally we're gonna build a Streamlit interface out of this. But this is the progress we have made till now. I'll just come and from a bathroom break real quick. Let's continue working on the application once I'm back. Till then, I'll just enjoy the music that I had been playing at the start of the stream, or you can just look at the problem statement again and see what have we built till now. Do you want me to upload this in Git before I go to the washroom and give you the link? Is that something you are interested in doing? Are you watching the stream with enough attention that you actually care about the code base and what are we doing with the code? Is that something that is going on, is what I'm trying to understand. Because if that is, then I will give you the link. If that is not, I'll just go by playing the music because you are anyway not paying attention in the stream for some weird reason. And in the git ignore, I'm just gonna ignore all the keys, all the .venvs, and all of the notebooks. We don't need to store them anywhere. So that all should be blank now. Cool, and all of the py caches as well. Sometimes this doesn't show py caches. I don't think we have built any py cache yet. Might be because we are using UV, not pip. But yeah, so this is all we want to ignore right now. And the readme files, let's just have a single readme file. We don't need these many readme files. And let's just have it here. So before we're going to the washroom, I'm just going to quickly upload all of this in a Git repository. Let's go to GitHub. Oh, I need to sign in to GitHub for some. Wow, it's been that long, is it? I'll just do that in a separate screen. Ayush, brother, I'm at it. Before you said it, I definitely thought it will be a bit confusion. So here I am trying to upload the Git repository at your service before going to the washroom. But for me to do that, you have to also subscribe to this channel and share this video among as many of your friends as possible. We need to grow this community for me to earn something out of it and make me more motivated to actually share more Git repositories with you guys. So please do that, Ayush. Are we on the same page on that? Can you do that for me? Damn, Ayush is gone silent now. Subscribe. Hey, great. Thanks, man. Good to have you here. We need more of your energy people here. So yeah, I'm just gonna create a Git repository. Uh, cool. Created the repository. Now I'm just gonna link it to this. Added the remote. I'm gonna do git add. I hope I'm not sending anything that shouldn't be uploaded. So the pen is ignored here, notebooks are ignored, and the keys are ignored. So yeah, everything else should be uploaded. That's fine. And yeah, so this should be okay. Also, I want to check my project files before I upload. So IPyKernel is in this, MCP, CPI, and Google are in this. And inside of this one, there should only be Google Gen AI and IPyKernel, which makes total sense. So we are cool on these things. So let's just commit, and then I'm just going to push. Also, we need to get check out to a different repository. Let's keep the main one clean. We'll only upload to the main once we have everything finalized. Cool, everything is uploaded, so that's nice. So I'm just gonna share this git repo with you guys. Why is there only MCP server in this? Oh, I did it from MCP server, didn't I? And now I'll seed it all the way back. Wow. Now I'm gonna have to do all of this again. I'm not specifically using the Gemini film. So we can use Claude and GPT. I'm not using their APIs because they are paid. That's the first reason for that. And the reason for using Gemini as an API and not work with Claude Desktop, which is actually free, and you can just connect your MCP directly. If you don't know about this, you can just check this out. Claude Desktop, you can just download it, and they have their config file that you have to edit. They have it in their documentation. You edit that config file, you specify the particular MCP you want to use, it will just work with it. But it is not as such production ready solution. It doesn't explain you how do you build a client that can actually connect to your MCP, and how can that client be agnostic, like how can your MCP be client agnostic. So we are building a MCP server that is separate. We are going to build that, and then we are going to build Gemini client separately and connect that via API. So in that way, you can use whatever model you ever want to work with your particular MCP server that we are building here, and you can keep playing with that. But I'm not going to use Claude with their API or ChatGPT with their API, because they are paid and I don't want to pay for their services. For personal projects, at least. For company, the company pays for me and I'm happy using it. So that's the thing. I hope that answers your question. So again, we'll have to push this because I made a mistake. Cool, now everything should be pushed, and I'm going to share the link for the repo inside the chat. I'm going to pin the chat, and then we can take the bathroom break that I'm desperate for. Also, we should also ignore these DS store things. This just annoys me. Why do we even have this? Like, it's somehow in the Mac, it always creates this .ds store file if you're not aware of it. And basically, when I've read a bit about it, it's somehow creating a cache for your particular these things. What do you call them? Uh, your finder, your Mac finder, and the finder basically knows that if it is in the .ds store, it is cached or whatever. There's some bullshit around that. I'm not sure. So we just add this. Hitting git ignore .ts. Sound volume is low. Oh, is it? Thanks for letting me know. I can just quickly increase it right in front of you guys. Oh, it is max from my side. I'm not sure why it's slow. Is it better now? Is it because the mic is too far? No, wait, give me a second. Let's increase the gain on this thing. How do you do that? Okay. Bro, do you have a gain feature anywhere? Okay, yeah, there is. Hello, is it any better now? Mr. Giga. Sounds good on my side. Giga, please check yours. Oh, damn. Thanks, Ayush. Thanks for having my back here. I love to see that. That's the kind of community we need to build here. We need more people like you. Great. Great subscriber I want today. Means a lot. Yeah, I try to increase a bit. I hope it is any better now. And yeah, coming back to the link sharing. Let's just do that. Mm, that's weird. Okay, not pasting still. I can type, but I cannot paste. Oh, this is weird. How do I give you the link then? You want me to type the link? I'm not going to do that. Too lazy for that. This is the link as such. I'm able to paste it here, but not able to paste it through OBS in the chat. That's just YouTube's self. OBS is doing some bullshit with pasting the link. I don't know what. View your channel. I hope my voice is turned all the way low. It's turned all the way low. And now going to this chat. There is the link. And I'm gonna pin this message up. Yeah, you can check that out. I'm just gonna take a bathroom break. I'll be back from there, and then we can start actually populating our server code, which has all of these tools inside of it. And yeah, this is gonna be an interesting application, and let's see what we can, if we can expand it in any ways. It's gonna be open source anyway, so you can make your own contributions as well. It will be a good time to do that. Yeah, until then, you can enjoy this cat playing the keyboard and listen to some good music. Bye bye. I'll be right back. Don't go. Anyone, don't go. It's just gonna take 2 minutes. You have to wait here, okay? Cool. Hope we are on the same page. So, hello everyone, back again. See, I told you it's not going to take that long. So, now we have to start building our actual application, which is populating these things. So, we have to first understand, we have to specify an input schema that is well understood by the model. So, everything that we are specifying inside of this should be very apparent to the model. We need to make it as clear as possible. And building MCPs has also one more benefit to it, that you will start writing better documentation, because if you don't write good documentation for your MCP, your model is not going to behave the way you expect it to, and then you're going to have failures. So yeah, it's just a good training in terms of how to write the best kind of documentation so that your model understands everything, and it's a good practice to have. So yeah, I think MCPs are great in that sense, that it teaches you how to write good documentation and follow good practices in Python. So yeah, so inside of this input schema, now we need to specify all of the different data that we need from the model. So as we discussed just in the previous couple of minutes, that these are the different columns that we want from the model, and let me just show it to you on screen as well. Yep, so these were the different endpoints we just discussed. Let's just copy them down inside of our endpoint, because we need all of this data from our model, and we need to also specify what all of this data actually means to us. So I'll just copy it down right here, and then we are going to specify them one by one. So you have a date, you have an invoice number, seller information, you have client information, VAT percent. Oh, how do I specify percent nicely? VAT percent, and we have our net worth, not our net worth, VAT gross. And let's just have it. We are following camel case everywhere, so why not? And then finally you have your worth. Cool. Why is worth different than everything else? What is this? What is happening? What is the error you're facing now? Are you gonna tell me or no? I guess not. The date is gonna be a string. We know that. Invoice number is gonna be an integer from all the files we looked at till now. Seller information is again gonna be a string. Client information is gonna be a string. VAT percentage is gonna be a number, int, let's say, and net worth is also gonna be, net worth I think can be float. VAT can also be float in that sense. Can it be? Let's assume not. At that point, we'll know how the model behaves for different conditions, and the worth is going to be also float. So I think these are the different inputs we are going to be expecting from all of this. Now I still don't understand why is it expected expression pyrite. What expression did you expect, Hannah? Expression value is unused. Yeah, because of this, yes. Oh, okay, because I forgot a comma. That's silly error. But yeah, basically these are all the endpoints we are going to be taking from the model, and we're going to specify what this endpoint actually does in our doc string. And this is the doc string that is actually visible to your model. So whenever your MCP client gives the description to the model, this is the doc string it's going to send to the model, and this is the input schema it is going to tell to the model that it has to follow, and it's going to give it to you the tool name. So these are your tools, this is your input schema, and this is your description. So these are the three different things that are to be followed inside of our MCP. Now inside of this doc string, we are going to tell the model that we this endpoint on the current invoice sent by the user ends row on Google Sheet based on the current invoice sent by the user. Based on the data. Correct. Invoice information sent by the user. Yes. Now we have to write and as well as think what the model will make of it. And then here inside of this doc string, we are going to specify all of our different inputs and what is our return going to be. So our return is just going to be a string. We're going to tell the model if everything is successfully uploaded or not. That's one thing. Oh, now what does it have a problem with? This function will declare return time string must return a value on all code paths. Yeah, it will. Don't worry about it. So inside of this, we are going to specify what each function is. So date string uh state of pulse in DD and format. That's the first thing. Then you have the invoice number. Invoice data. Keeping everything same here, and this is a bit of a boring task, so you can skip forward. You can't do that. It's a live stream, so you can just chill out. Just keep the screen open. Let that watch time increase. That will be my recommendation or my request in that sense. But okay, so you have the seller information, the and anyone who is joining the stream, please subscribe. The streams are only gonna get more interesting from here. I've just gotten back from a long break, and I don't plan on having such long breaks ahead. So please subscribe. Let me know what you want to see. We'll make more contents. We'll try to make more projects. I love making projects here. I love working with AI, computer vision, computer science, mechanical engineering. Just got a solar panel as well. Gonna work with Arduino. If you want to live stream of that, let me know that as well. And just we are just trying to build a community around engineering here. And yeah, a more relaxed one, not the sophisticated uh theory one. Yeah, I hope that made it clear. The summary, that information for the invoice. And then you have the network. That is also going to be an int. Oh no, not a int, a float. Summary, net worth, information, and calculated VAT based on net worth. And then you finally have worth. Net worth plus VAT for the invoice. Cool. So now we have specified every single input that this endpoint is going to take. And what we simply want to do is we want to upload this data to Google Sheets. Now we have already created the sheet upload.py, which basically takes in a row and then uploads it to the sheet. So now our task is even simpler. So we are just going to copy the same code and we're going to create a module inside of here. So let's create a new folder which is called modules, and inside of modules we're gonna have a new file which is sheet uploader. Just some organization tips for your code, nothing much. Let's copy everything down here, not this, sheets upload, and this is gonna remain the same, this is gonna remain the same, also this is going to remain the same pretty much. Now from here onwards, the only thing that's going to change is let's have another thing inside of our source. Let's call it utils, and inside of utils let's have a config.py, and let's have all of these kind of variables defined inside of it. The scopes is fine, scopes can be defined right here, but the service account file information, so let's call it class. So what is this that we're storing inside of is the question now. So we are going to be storing sheet credentials, sheet config. So you have the service account file, and then you have the scopes should be here, it's fine. Spreadsheet ID, let's not call it sample spreadsheet ID anymore because it is the real spreadsheet ID. Then you have your worksheet name, and worksheet name actually depends on the invoice or that data, so let's just make it a dictionary. We can also create it a enum as a separate enum, but that's fine, we don't need to go that much into this right now. And invoice gonna have this thing which is the sheet name for invoice, and then you're gonna have item 1 which is gonna have your item data. Now we can rename them to anything, but in the code we'll always end up using item and invoice. That way it cleans up the code for us. We'll always be referring them to as worksheet name invoice, worksheet name item inside of this, and we can change everything inside of the config file itself if we ever want to change the sheet names inside of our document as such. And yeah, I think these are all the configs that we are using right now, and let's just have it like from source dot utils dot config. If I can just type import sheet config, and inside of this we have the sheet config dot service account file. The scopes are still here, and you have to actually define a function here. So add row, and it's gonna take it's basically gonna take some data. So our data is gonna be list of string or float or integer, basically anything. So list of string, float, or integer, and this function is not going to return anything, so we don't need any return statements. We can also actually have this service built initially for us because we are specifying the worksheet ID here. So basically, instead of going through all of this trouble, what we can do is inside of the config itself, or we should have another file. Let's just have another file which is called helper.py, and it's gonna go def get sheet client, and it's gonna import all of this from here. So all of this that we're doing here should be inside of the helper, not there. And here we don't need any input, we are just going to create this client inside of here. So the sheet thing that we are finally creating should be inside there. Okay, and we are just going to return the sheet. Now why do I want it here is the fact that I can actually import lr from lr from func tools, import lru cache, and then I can have it like this, and in that way I'll never have to recreate this kind of sheet and resend the authentication request again and again. I'll once create the sheet, it will be stored in a cache inside of my RAM, inside of the memory, and then I'm just gonna keep returning the same sheet uh, client basically in each time of my code. So that will prevent me some requests, additional requests that I'm making from my side. So this is just a clean way of creating a sheet client basically. And the architecture, this particular pattern is known as a singleton. So this is how you create a singleton in Python. Like there are many other ways of creating a singleton in Python. This is just one of those ways. And yeah, so here we are just creating our service account using this. And then inside of here, we can have our from source dot utils dot helper. I'm gonna import my get sheet client, and that way my code is extremely simple. My sheet is actually get sheet client, and I never worry what's inside of the get sheet client. So it's also cleaning my code in that sense. So that's good. And here now I can remove this. I don't need that anymore. And this is what I'm gonna finally have. And my sample spreadsheet ID is actually this. I'm still gonna keep here because I want it so that it can be modular in that sense. It can later I might want to have different sheets for different tasks, and in that way I don't want it to be stuck inside of the helper, because then I'll have to give an input to the helper, and then the helper will create different sheets for different ranges, and we don't need that because we are inside of this append itself we are specifying the spreadsheet ID. So that just works for us. So yeah, we got the sheet, and inside the spreadsheet ID we're gonna do sheet config dot spreadsheet ID, and worksheet name is gonna come from sheet config dot worksheet name, and we'll actually have to input the worksheet name. I think that's like the logical way of doing this, and I don't know why it has specified it like this. Just do it like this. And yeah, so I was saying the worksheet name, right? So let's have it input as well, like which kind of data type it is. And that's gonna be our data type. So in that way we know, like, either we want to send it to invoice or we send it to the item one. So cool. And user entered, and the values are gonna be our data, and that's it. And the request, I never saw what the request returns, so let's just go back to the sheet and see what the request actually returns, so that we can have some kind of a useful output from the function, or at least raise the error if something breaks. Spreadsheet ID, table range, updated columns, updated cells. So it doesn't actually have anything useful. It will just break if the upload is not successful. It's fine. I don't think that's any of this is of any use. So one thing we can do is we can actually tell it which row did we actually update. So let's have it actually return a string. We were initially thinking the sheet uploader will not return anything, but let's have it return a string in that sense. We're going to specify right here that it's going to be returning a string, and here we are just going to return request. Oh god, if I can just, and it is a int, right? Or it is a dict. Class dict, perfect. That's just perfect for us. So it is a dict. So yeah, I'm just gonna tell it like what row data have I updated. So updated range and updated columns. So nope, that was not it. Updated range. Okay, it's like that. Range and updated rows. Let's make it as a clean string. Updated. these many number of rows in range. That way the model will always know which particular rows has it updated right now in a particular conversation that is going on. So this is okay. This is our add row function that we are going to call from our server. And inside of the server, which looks scary right now because of all the doc strings, we are not habitual to so many doc strings when you're generally writing code, and this makes it look like a library in itself because that have a lot of documentation. But yeah, basically inside here we're just gonna from source dot modules dot sheet uploader import add row, and this thing is just gonna call. So with all the data it received for a particular invoice, what it's gonna do is it's gonna upload this data, and to do that it's just gonna arrange them in that particular format that our sheet is. Let's go back to the sheet to look at it. Yeah, there you are. There must be some rows created inside of it that we don't need. Let's just delete this. And yeah, so what you need to do is, let's copy all of this again. Well, everything is the same order of this, so it shouldn't actually matter that much. Oh, so VAT gross is not a thing. It was gross worth that was the thing. Damn, that was funny. So VAT gross is not a thing. Gross worth, that's a thing. Cool, this looks better. And what we want to do is we want to call add row. That's it. You're gonna put in the date, the invoice number, the seller information, client information, VAT percent, worth. Yeah, very procedural right now. Gross worth. That's all we're gonna put in, and we're gonna specify the data type. Data type is invoice in our case, and this will return like update information. And I don't want to do anything too creative right now. I'm just going to return the update information. So this is our first MCP endpoint ready. So let's work on the client side right now, because if we will just end up spending too much time on this. We have to anyway refine this once we have the client working. And the tricky part in the client is that we are going to use Gemini API, so we don't have any straightforward solution to send in the tool information and stuff. So we'll have to look through the code that they have provided in the MCP client section, and we'll have to use that information to actually upload our client data. So this is done. We have created the add row, and this is here we have created an endpoint, and we have created the doc string and everything. This we don't need. This was just a notebook. And yeah, just some code organization practices. How do you organize your helpers, your utils, and all of those stuff, just to make it more maintainable and easier to access. Readme we are gonna update later anyway. So all of this is done. Our server.py is ready, kinda, of at least one of the endpoints is ready for now. And just quickly checking if the name is right. Invoice, cool. So nothing should break from this side. Now let's start working on the client side. So in the client side, I want to build a Streamlit application is the thing. And starting with a Streamlit application is going to be annoying. So inside of the notebooks itself, let's just work with a simple client. So this we have already worked with, but now we need to connect the tool with this clients also. So we need to see how do we connect the tool information inside of the client. So in Gemini, we'll have to see function calling with Gemini. No. Function tooling with Gemini. No. Okay. So for this part, I would prefer to use their documentation and see how they have built this. So for client developers, let's see how they are doing this. So we built the client, they have used Anthropic as an example. That's fine. What we want to use, we can close this invoice now. We don't need this, but we want to use Gemini instead of Anthropic because it's free API. How do we do about that? And one more thing, let's also download Claude Desktop just to show you how the MCP is working. It's just good to have it, I think. That way we'll have faster check on the MCP itself, and then we can actually start working on the client part of things. So let's have it download in the parallel. I'll also install it in parallelly while we are working on the client. Okay, cool. So that's the benefit of using the Claude Desktop thing. So I don't want to use the Claude Desktop for the project because I want it to work with for everyone. They don't have to install this Claude Desktop application for it to particularly work and all of that. I don't want a dependency from the Claude side, but I still think it is a great tool for debugging your MCPs because it just runs purely locally and just connects to the API itself. It takes care of how to specify the MCP tooling and everything by itself, so you instantly know if your MCP is correct or not, and then you only start focusing on your client side of things. So that's a great part of, like, that's the benefit of using Claude Desktop when you're building MCPs, and I think they have done an amazing job by building this thing for us. So I'm just opening this. I've opened downloaded the Claude Desktop. I'm just logging in, and then I'm going to bring it to the main screen that is being shared with you so that we can start working with it. Oh wow, the sign in came in here. So nice, you can see the sign in process. That's okay. Yeah, do I have any chats with Claude? Yes, I have. I'm gonna remove them. These are extremely old chats. When I was trying all the different models, thinking that I'm gonna figure out a way to get something better than ChatGPT. Claude is in some sense better at instruction following than ChatGPT, but at the end you realize that all of these tools and these models and their 84.6 and 84.8% doesn't really matter that much if you are able to build good tools out of them. So yeah, cool. So we have this thing in here. Now we have, so let me just show you how to you connect your MCP with Claude actually. So inside of our server right now, these are all being passed, these tools. We can just comment them out as well. I don't know if they will confuse the model or not, or let's just see if they will confuse the model or not. And in here I'm gonna have if underscore name is equal to underscore main. We are gonna make our MCP, and we're gonna select transport, which is gonna be stdio for now. So for local testing, you have to use standard input output, and if you are actually hosting your MCP itself, then you will end up using SSE or streamable if you want to streamable HTTP. So that's a socket connection. Okay, so this is how you set up your tool. We'll just quickly run this just to see if everything is working or not. Python run. We are in the server, right? Cover.py. We don't even need to do Python run. Yeah. So we are not facing any errors, which means it is working. One way to quickly test if it is actually working or not, because it doesn't show up anything here, is to make it SSE for the time being. And if this port is open and everything is working, then you know things are working for sure. Not run. Cool, it is working actually. Great. So now we have to actually edit their config file. So let's do that. So file. So inside of Claude itself, let me share it on the main screen. You should know this, I hope, if you are working with MCPs on your local system. If you want to just build it for your personal applications, that's perfectly fine. I'm not able to move it here. Yeah, now it is. So inside of Claude settings, developer, edit config, and this is my config.file. So it will open up the finder where the config.file is. I'm just going to open it with Z for now, and it opens up right there. and inside of this you see that nothing is there right now. And one thing you can do, which is very amazing, is that you can ask the MCP itself to write that file for you. So let me do that. So how did we used to do it? MCP install, I think, python -m mcp install server.py. MCP is a package and cannot be directly executed. Okay, how did you used to do it? There was a way of installing this. Nope, that is not helping me. There was a way of doing MCP install or something. Now it is not showing it to me. Is there a way to look at the CLI itself? Maybe it is visible here. I guess I must have also seen it somewhere, right? MCP install server.py, that's what it is. Happened there. No module MCP main MCP, the package cannot be directly executed. Now it works. Okay, maybe it's because of the CLI and client issues. So yeah, this is what it gives you by default, but you don't want to use it. There are some things that I found are wrong with it. So basically, it doesn't take care of the UV environment basically. So what you want to do is instead UV run, and for this to work, your UV should be installed by brew. So I'm just gonna do it. Just make sure brew install UV. Yeah, I have also installed it with Python, I guess, because it has to reinstall everything. Oh, it didn't reinstall, it just updated it. Okay, then it is fine. So yeah, you have to do your Ruby run, and you don't need all of this. You can just do server.py. But the only thing you need to change is, for I used to do Python /w ignore .py, and here I also used to specify the directory, which in our case is going to be this. And one more thing I used to specify was oh, there's no comma here. That's the error. Yeah, so basically the issue is that in MCPs, one thing I found during my experiment was the fact that if you are trying to run the MCP and there are warnings inside of your Python, somehow those warnings doesn't comply with the some of those warnings. So especially I've faced this with pandas warnings. So some of those pandas warning were not conforming to the MCP structure the way it expects the input, and in that case, since it was failing to connect to the MCP server because it was not able to read it was not able to read the standard input, and it was giving me errors. So at that point I started using these w-ignore thing in Python, so that you don't get the warnings, and this way your MCP server will just work even in cases where you have warnings inside of it. So you will not have to do anything inside of your code to prevent those warnings. This will work with warnings itself. So yeah, so this is our MCP server. Now let's try to restart Claude. So for it to take effect, we will close this, we'll restart this. It will tell us if it is running successfully or not. Allow. Cool. So our MCP server should be connected by now. It still doesn't show up. Let's restart again. Maybe because the permission it got later. Is it visible now? Still not visible. That's weird. Oh, because this is SSC. Oh yeah, this must be the case. We'll have to make it standard input output. Yeah. Now we'll see if there is any error with the code or not. Now it will try to connect it. Cool. So our MCP is successfully connected, and it is showing all of the endpoints we have created till now. Now let's try uploading a file and see if it is able to read it or not. So inside of our documents, experiments, MCP invoice, client, notebooks, data. Let's upload one of the GPGs and say, can you please parse? So this is a desktop application and this will not allow me to input any system instruction as a part of my command, and that's why I can't play with actually giving a system instruction that whenever a user is giving an invoice or a invoice image that is an invoice, you need to upload it to Google Sheets and you have to upload both the invoice data and the items data. I can't give it anything like that, so I'm going to describe it in the user query itself for this Claude application. But when we'll be working with our Gemini application, I will be inputting all of those instructions inside of the system instruction, so that way we'll never have to worry about uh, actually missing out on information uh, that the user is uploading. So can you please parse this invoice and upload data to invoice? So you can see, so it knows all of our endpoint information, right? So you can see it used our input schema. Now it is asking me for permission that if it can run this particular endpoint or not. So I'll just say allow always because it's in my own desktop. I need not to worry about anything. So you can see, so this was the exact format. Save item as data sheet. It will just try to run it. There is no request there. So, and one more thing I wanted to show you is the fact that if I go here, you will see the response. Oh, there is an error. Nice. So we actually had an error and it says perfect successful. So we'll have to actually train it better to say that if there is an error, this will also need to go in the system instruction then. And error executing tools, save invoice, metadata to sheet, updated rows. What does that mean? Okay, so everything did got uploaded, but why did it fail then? Why did it give a bad input is the question. Doesn't make sense, does it? So it uploaded everything, but then it gave me an error. Did try calling it back again. What happened? Same item wise data to sheets. This didn't respond anything. This gave a response that updated rows. What is updated rows? Oh, it's a oh, I get it. I get it. Okay. I think in the somehow we did read it incorrectly, and this is a key error basically. Man, it has a weird way of describing key errors. Let's just run this again and see what was it. Updated range, updated rows. What have I written here? What I've written right? Was it any different from before? No, it's not different. It's exactly the same. Then it's a key error for different reason in that case. Let's just copy this back here. Oh, now it is an error. So nice. There is something else going. It is not that their response is a bit weird. If the response would have been inconsistent, that would have been a bigger issue that we'll have to deal with. But this seems like a simpler issue. Oh, because it's a dictionary of dictionary somehow. So, oh, inside of the updates is everything that resides here. So, oh, nice. Okay, so inside of update there is everything. So basically we need to first go inside of update updates. Inside there we'll have this information. Nice, now we are getting it. So this is what we have to use. Just add updates. That's what happens when you try to write everything too fast before testing everything inside of the notebook. Right? That's what happens when you try to be over smart. Cool. So now that we have done that, I'm just gonna quit Claude. I'm gonna restart this, and now, hopefully, not even hopefully, I'm 100% certain it's just gonna work. And I'm just gonna re-upload the same invoice. I'm just gonna delete the row from here just so that you guys can see what's happening. And I'm just gonna change the format for everyone to be warping. And now if I go to Claude, which has my MCP, and it has not opened up for some reason, so I'm gonna quit it, reopen it. It hasn't opened. Okay, now it did. So I'm just gonna have it to retry this with no changes. So let's just run this. Now successfully we should have our response printed here that was sent by us in our endpoint, and everything should be working just fine. So you can see that it is doing everything in the same ordering as we have specified in the docstring, because it uses the docstring description, it uses the input schema, and it uses your function name. So that's how it is able to tell that I have to upload it to Google Sheet using an invoice that is getting populated. That so now it knows which tool to use based on that name, because we have given the name save invoice metadata to sheets. That's what it is using there. Now in the next case, it is using the input schema to get all of this data back, input schema and the docstring that we have created, and it was able to parse all of those information and put them back, and it was able to get this response. So it will be telling me like this was the invoice number and I have uploaded it in a particular range. Okay, it doesn't find the range part to be relevant, so it hasn't told me that. But yeah, everything is getting outputted successfully, and if I go back here, I should see my data. So perfect, everything is working. Cool. Anybody till here yet? Just raise your hand, tell me who is here right now. And so we have actually completed the requirement that we had put up in the video. We have a MCP that is uploading to the DB, but now we have to also build up a Gemini client to do the same for us. We are using the Claude desktop for now, but we have to do the same thing with a Gemini client. Oh wow, why am I speaking weird? Okay. Yeah, so now we have to understand how do we build a client for Gemini. So we'll have to also understand how it actually works for Gemini. For that, we'll have to actually look at the documentation. Hey, Ayush, you're still here. Hi, nice. So yeah, cool. Done with the first requirement. Now we are able to upload everything to our invoice. We can do the same for our item-wise data. That should be extremely straightforward now that we have this thing working for us. It's just going to be a list of list again, and all of those things are going to be inside of it. And so the model should be able to handle all of that part for us. We are just going to specify the doc string just like we did here. And now we have to actually understand, okay, so their doc string can be a bit tricky. It can have to call multiple times. So there are two ways we can handle this. Either we can have the model give us the input in a certain way as a list directly, or we can have the function call the save item-wise data to sheets multiple times. So for each row inside of the invoice, it's gonna call the save item-wise data sheets to upload for that particular row. And I'm gonna start with that because it is very simple. Model is taking care of all of the things, and I'll just have to execute something very similar to what I've done here. I'll have to specify the doc string and the input schema, and everything will work for me, because add row anyway works for whatever data you give it to, and the data type I just need to change. So that's extremely straightforward upgrade. And this is a get request, again straightforward. We'll just have to discuss on what different parameters do we want the model to be able to search on, what are the different columns we want the model to be able to search on, and that should be done. So I think from server side we are almost ready. I am able to describe you all of the different things that needs to be done on a server. And for your MCP, like your client, you have the cloud desktop working for you. So for a personal implementation, for an implementation that you're just doing for your desktop, you just want to connect some APIs with your LLM and want to use it for some personal use. Either you want to connect it to a particular website, or you want to connect it to a particular API that you have created or is used in your particular industry. You have that part ready for you. Your LLM can actually integrate with that. So now we are trying to actually go out and build our own client, so that to understand what exactly is Claude doing in the background to handle our tool executions. And we will also be making it more model agnostic in that sense, because we can start working with APIs and then we can build multiple models. Either it can be a Claude API, or it can be an OpenAI API, or it can be your Gemini API. So that's what we are going to be doing now. So yeah, how is it? How does it feel? Ayush, you're the only one who's responding in the chats right now. So how does it feel? Is it cool? Do you find it cool? Do you think this has unlocked a new domain for you? What are you views? I'm just gonna eat while I'm waiting for your response. Oh wow, you're really making me wait now. That's crazy. You can also take this one, by the way. Retrieval is fine. We have to answer. We have to do this part now, and then we'll have to create a Streamlit application for all of this. I think for the Streamlit application, we can just use ChatGPT. It does an amazing job at creating Streamlit applications. I think ChatGPT has basically solved Streamlit to a level that you can ask it to create anything on Streamlit, and it will be able to do a decent enough job for it if the task is simpler, and or if you're able to break it down into simpler tasks. So yeah, Ayush has responded. This helps really. Kind of new to MCP, so just getting the hang of it. Great. I was also new to MCP about 2 weeks ago, and got to work with it and found it really interesting, because it just worked. It just straight out of the box. It worked. Like what in this whole video that we are doing right now, in this live stream, we have not done too much in terms of MCP. There was not too much to be done in terms of MCP. The way they have built the API, the way they have integrated it with LLMs, mostly we had been just working with Google Sheets and trying to understand how to make it work. And other than that, we were spending some time on getting the response from Gemini, which we have to again work on when we are integrating with our MCP tools. But yeah, most of the time we have just spent on Google Sheets update and things like that, and the code structure itself, so that it is more cleaner in that sense. So most of this video is actually code organization in that sense now, most of this live stream. But yeah, hopefully it goes to show like how straightforward it is to create an MCP. And if you have worked with fast API, the syntax is also extremely very similar, and that's why they are also calling it fast MCP. I think maybe it can be built on top of fast API, that's why they're calling it, but I'm pretty sure it's built on top of the HTTP protocol. The network protocol is HTTP. And yeah, when we build the client ourselves, I'll also show you how to make it work with the SSE, so the client can connect either locally by running the command that you have specified. So the way we did here, we specified the command, the exact command that we want to run, and that's how we made it work. Or if you are just working with you want to host the server somewhere and make it work through to and fro connections, that way we'll have to use SSE, and I'll show you how to make it work with that in the client side of things. So yeah, that's the thing. Cool. How long have we been streaming for? It's been 2 hours. Okay, so great. What we can do now is I'll be pushing this code in my GitHub. We'll be working on these things in the next stream, and the client in the next stream. And next stream is gonna be tomorrow. I promised at the start of this video I'm gonna be more regular now. So there's 100% gonna be stream tomorrow, where we will be working on these particular endpoints. And I think it's a good point to end the stream right here, as Ayush has also understood how MCPs actually work, and he has started to get a hang of it. And we just built a decent enough MCP that is able to connect to Cloud Desktop, and it's working there. And yeah, most of the guys who must be having troubles with MCP, I spend a lot of time debugging this dash w ignore part. So I think that helps you as well. Something I learned while working with MCPs. Hope it goes to help you. And yeah, that's what we are going to build in the next application. So yeah, in the problem statement, if we see, we have to build the retrieval part, which is comparatively straightforward. I think you can do it yourself as well. But yeah, we will be doing it in the stream. It's not like I'm not going to be doing it, but yeah. And then we have to answer query based on the data received. This is the MCP connection part that we have to build. So this is what we will be doing. And the Streamlit application interface. I don't know. So I've written this. So that's the data integration part. That's straightforward. MCP endpoints for uploading data is created partially. I don't know how to make a partial tick in here, so that's why I'm doing tick. Or maybe let's just have it yellow or something. I don't know. Currently in progress. So yeah, let's use another symbol. Work in progress. Oh yeah, this is nice. This works. Cool. So MCP endpoints for uploading data are a work in progress. Retrieval is not done yet. Answer user query based on data received, not done yet. Simulate application as interface, definitely not done yet. And we have what we have not written is MCP client Gemini that connects with our MCP server. So yeah, this is gonna be all. These are all the things we'll be doing in next stream, and I'm pretty sure we will be able to complete it in the next stream itself because there isn't much left there anyway. We just have to understand how do we build the MCP client, and we will be using ChatGPT for that mostly because it's mostly just playing with documentation. And in that particular case, it is okay to use ChatGPT. It does like it is a bad connection. It is kind of toxic with ChatGPT right now. Like you don't want to use it because you don't want to waste too much time in documentation. And uh so good question Ayush has asked right now in the chat. Are we also analyzing invoices data, like what products are sold the most, demand forecasting based on the invoices data, etc. So see, so right now, actually that could be a good expansion to the project. I didn't think of it that way. That's a good idea. I'll give it to you. But the thing is, right now I was just trying to store the data and get everything working. So creating a chat interface with a chat with a model that can store the data at the same time retrieve the data whenever I want. I'm making a request, and actually based on your idea, we can have some additional endpoints that will do the forecasting for us. So the user can ask queries like, what do you think based on the date this to this data is the sales gonna be in the future days? And then we can have some algorithm running in the background for those particular days. We can create that MCP endpoint. I think that is a very good expansion to the project. So let's just actually write it down in the product statement right now. So the problem statement keeps expanding. I'm just gonna push this problem statements list in the, yeah, why are we even doing this? Let's just push all of this in the readme itself. We don't need to maintain this anymore. We have a readme now. Right. Tomorrow on script. Yeah, I will definitely do script. Um, actually, yeah, I'll just let you know the time in the comment community. I'm not sure about the time. Most probably it will be the same time this stream was. Hopefully, yeah. I'm just gonna go do the lunch before that. I'm very hungry right now. That's why I have to end the stream. Actually, if I had done the lunch before the stream, things would have been a lot more smoother, and we could have continued working. But yeah, better planning. Need better planning. Starting off. You gotta levy that. But okay, do analysis. Just gonna increase. Were you able to read the code till now? Was the text too small? Do you think this is better? How do you want the code to be? Do you think this was better, or it was okay and readable in the previous configuration as well? Okay, we can keep it like this then, the middle of both. Okay, so do analysis on. Yeah, I will be pushing it to Git for sure. Is that done? And if you work on something, just create a merge request or something. I think the repo is open. I'm pretty sure I didn't make it private. I'll just quickly check. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't make it private. You were able to access it before. Yeah, just just create a branch and start playing with things if you are working on something in parallel, and later we can see if you want to merge some requests. So yeah, and also start the project if you can. It just really validates what I'm doing here. I don't know. I'm just asking too many things. You're the only one here in the chat right now. I think if we just plan the streams better for tomorrow, we will have more people, so it will be more fun in that way. But okay, so for this forecasting one, I think we'll have to also uh, understand the different strategies in which the model will actually want to query RDB. So basically, when it's trying to retrieve the item data, when it wants to forecast the demand for a particular item, it needs to query that particular item, right? So in Google Sheets, one way of querying it will be to just filter it on the basis of item name. And but in some cases, the model might want more complicated kind of queries, which are not possible in Google Sheets itself. I think in that point, we will actually have to shift to some kind of a PostgreSQL or any other SQL or Mongo or something to work with more complicated queries. Like right now, our model cannot support at all queries that are like what is the prediction for this particular seller, like how many requests have we ever received from this particular seller. We don't we are not storing that kind of a seller information separately. If we are also working with a data that is like, I don't know what seller information or client information is there. That is also one of the issues, because if I was working on a particular domain problem, I would have had the user of the application fill in a form where it will give me all of the sellers and uh, clients it's going to have. And at that point, it would be completely straightforward for us to map that seller information, create it as enums, and then we'll specify the enums to the model, and in that way it can select from the user's conversation which particular seller they are talking about and get the data for that. But yeah, I think just for the forecasting part and the analysis part, we might have to let go of sheets in the later videos and start with PostgreSQL. But damn, bro, damn, that analysis part really took this project from an idea, from a MCP, like a POC of a MCP, to an actual buildable project. Like, you can do so much with the analysis part. Good job, good job. Really appreciate you for that one. We'll see. We'll make something interesting out of it. We can also play around for more things. Like if we are doing analysis anyway, we can also build uh, we can try to build it as a whole of a invoice management system. I'll have to see what all do we do in our invoice management system. Do we like yeah, we'll have to also see that. Cool. So I'm just gonna write this invoice data uploaded. It's allow different query strategy. Okay, now I'm just gonna this thing. Let's just review this once. How do you used to review? I don't even know, dude. There used to be preview for MD, right? Right for the inventory management. Yeah, not inventory management, invoice management. No. Is invoice management same as inventory management? No, right? Different, but okay. Share you my LinkedIn. Okay, you can have my LinkedIn. I'm just gonna open it in a different tab again. I know. It's a bit annoying. That's how I have to do. You can't see everything on my judge me. Yeah, I'm just gonna use my phone. Cool. Now you have the LinkedIn. Is my LinkedIn not in my about page? Should be in my channel about page. I'll have to add it in my channel about page. Why do people have to ask for it? That shouldn't be the case. Yeah, invoice management. Cool. We're gonna work. I'm just gonna see what all do we people want to do with invoice management. We are just doing like the actually, now that we are discussing this project in such detail, I actually also think like it's interesting that we are solving this particular problem. Because there was this particular meme I saw one day. You can call it a meme or you can call it like actual complaint of people that AI is doing all of these creative tasks for us. It is writing stories for us. It is writing like poems for us. All of these creative tasks. It is creating images for us. Blah 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 blah. But AI should actually be automating the boring tasks for us so that we can spend more time doing all of these creative tasks that we want to do. So, in some sense, this project is actually solving a very boring problem, which is accounting. So let's see if we can integrate it with some other tools to actually simplify that part. Yeah, and also data analysis. It's kind of boring. Just let's just be honest here. Um, so okay, my channel about page there is no information about my LinkedIn. I will add that so people don't have to ask about it. Cool. So that should be the end of the stream. I'm just gonna push this. I just wanted to do a preview first. Oh, why is it showing up like this? Checklist in Markdown. Oh, you have to add this thing. That should work now. I don't know. I don't like full stops. Weird reason now. And I used to be fine with full stops all the while, but after programming, I think full stops give a signal that some kind of a attribute or a function call is incomplete from a class, method call or a attribute call, and that's why I don't like dots anymore. I think programming changed that in me. I was totally fine with full stops, but after programming, I am just not fine with full stops. It's weird. No, no, still not a checklist. Oh, okay. Why am I doing this? I'm being the idiot. Stop. Yeah, I'm being the idiot here. Uh, Now we have to do it super fast. That should. And for here, go in the long. Oh, That should do it. Now let's see. Nice, that's what we wanted. uh, yeah, I think this describes everything perfectly. So uh, and also let's have it like as two separate lists actually. Client. I'm just This is the boring part of the stream. If you're still here, you're amazing. If you're not, it's fine. uh, so in the client we'll have this thing, then we have the yep, that should be it. Let's just review this once and for all. Cool. These are all of our requirements. Our readme is ready, so I'm just going to git add all of this, and I don't know what to write in the commit. I think what all did we do? We Cool. That's all did we did. And in the readme itself, I'm also gonna attach before the commit. Just so that it's easier for you guys to do that. Cool. That should help you guys to update your own cloud desktop configuration, as that was not part of any file in our project, and that should be it. So let's go back to our commit message. Also in the config, we have all of this service account path and stuff. I don't think it should matter to anyone as such, but ideally from the next one we'll move it to a .env file. Anyway, you will not be able to access this service account file, or you will not be able to access this spreadsheet ID as well, because it's just you will not have the access. Worst you can do is I don't even want to talk about it, but yeah, this is it. Cool. I'm just gonna push it to dev, and that should be the end of the stream, guys. Cool. Fun to have you here today. We did fill up some of the requirements. We have basically checked how we can parse invoice data by sending an image plus text input to Gemini, and then we also added the upload invoice functionality to our MCP server. And yeah, we mostly work with Google Sheets, and also how do you organize code in such situations so that it's more performant in that sense. So you learn about singletons. How do you want to work with singletons when you have something that needs to be done again and again inside of your code, and how it simplifies your requests, reduces the number of requests you're making. So that's a good thing to have. And yeah, just set it up, basic MCP server with a client and a server. No, nothing much is done in the clients right now. You will not even see these things. So yeah, but the server is, yeah, server is almost ready. But after the analytics part, that's gonna be more interesting. We're gonna have to spend more time on the server side, which is cool. I love that idea. Cool. So that's all. See you in the next one. Had fun in the stream, guys. It's been a while. I had been streaming after a long time, and I am honestly been missing all of this. Like, it's been so long, and it's so fun. It's still so fun. Like, I love how fun this is. That's why I do this. Like, building something from scratch, building on projects. Like, you don't get the same level of motivation when you're working without the stream. At least for me, when I am on stream and I'm working on these projects and having the input from you guys, building ideas, it's just amazing. So subscribe and like the video if you're here. Let's increase the reach of the channel. Let's have more people come in here. And from my side, I'll try to be way more consistent with my stream, as I have not been in the past, but I'll try my best to be now. Now the things have been a little bit more stable. All of my relocation, my house shifting has been done, so I will be able to be more consistent now. So see you in the next one. Somehow miss these git ignore files. I'm just gonna, and the readme files, I'm just gonna push them as well. uh yeah, that's all. So yeah, see you in the next one. Bye bye, take care. One last bye.